Back on STL TV Live, and I'm joined by Scott Kennebeck from St. Louis Cathedral Concerts. Thank you for joining us in studio.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
So on Lindell, we have this amazingly gorgeous cathedral basilica, a lot of history to it, and maybe people don't know, or perhaps they do, that for 2 decades now there's been concerts that have been held there, correct?
Right, yeah. St. Louis Cathedral Concerts, we're in our 22nd year at the moment. It's just an incredible space to hear music in. People know the cathedral for all the mosaics and the decorations we have, but with the architecture, the domes of the cathedral, it makes it just an incredible place to hear music.
So you're in the middle of the 2014-15 season,
right.
And coming up in 2 weeks we have a special performance, or you have a special performance that you're presenting.
We do. We're bringing in a group called Pomerium from New York City. They've been around since 1972 when they were founded by their founder, Alexander Blachly. He's still their director, and they're an early music vocal group, and they're going to do a wonderful concert of Renaissance music in the cathedral, and we're so excited to have them.
Okay, so when we talk about early music, Renaissance music, I mean, there's people who are really into sacred music, so that's going to ring a bell. But for those who don't, describe to me what they're going to hear. How does that, is it a cappella referred to? Is it chanting? How exactly do you position it?
Well, the music that they will do is a cappella, and it ranges from plain chant all the way through high Renaissance music. So they're going to start with some plain chant, do some Dufay, if people are familiar with that composer, who was an early Renaissance composer, really took plain chant and added polyphony to it. So there's things going on that don't happen in plain chant, and hearing it in the cathedral is just going to be incredible.
I was going to say, is there a difference when you have it, Pomerium, when they perform in the cathedral versus, let's say, in a theater, acoustically? Is there a big difference?
Well, acoustically, sure. I mean, the cathedral is very reverberant, and those kind of places were places that those composers that they will be performing were thinking of and had in mind when they were composing their music. Theaters in the United States tend to be very dry, so there's not the overtones that you get in a building like the Cathedral Basilica. And it's just an amazing space. When a group is singing, they can create whole other chord structures from what they're singing, because when they stop singing that sound carries on, and then they can come underneath it with their next sounds, and that creates that whole other chord structure. And it's really... It's an ethereal experience. It adds a whole nother level to the performance.
A lot of the concert series, you sort of position it as, early music, as you were saying, and classical or pre-classical music. Tell me a bit more. You have a seminar coming up that kind of fits in line with it.
Right. Well, Pomerium is a Renaissance vocal group, so we're having our Exploring Sacred Music seminars, and this 5-week series of seminars will focus on the music of the Renaissance. And it's really designed to enhance the listening experience, give some background of the Renaissance period for when this music was created.
We were talking offset before we started, and I was saying I remember back in the 90s when chanting pop music started to incorporate that and sort of sample that. I mean, do you feel that there's kind of ebbs and flows of popular interest in sacred music, or is there always a consistent fan base? Is it somebody who's more perhaps been in the church and grown up with it? Like, how do you see the audience, the cultivation of the audience?
Well, we certainly have a group of very fervent early music fanatics here in St. Louis, and we hope they all come to the concert. But it does have a base of people who are interested in sacred music, church music. But it's really open to anyone to come to these concerts. Our tagline is kind of where all of St. Louis experiences great music in a great space, and that's what we try to provide consistently with all the groups that we bring in.
Before we go to break, is there anything else we should know about Pomerium? Is there... Besides, am I saying the name correctly?
Pomerium, that is correct. Yeah.
Is there anything in it? How many people? It's 15 vocalists?
It's 15 vocalists. It's all a cappella, Renaissance music. They're going to be doing stuff from, like I said, plain chant all the way through, really basically music from a 300-year period, from about 1300 all the way up until the late 1600s. So it's a wide program. There should be something for everyone, but it's really some of the most beautiful music ever written.
I listened to some of it online, and it is quite beautiful. We've got the information there for you on the screen. The concert's coming up on March 21st. That's a Saturday at 8 p.m. It's one concert only, one performance only. So if you want to check it out, this is your only time to do so. Head to cathedralconcerts.org for more information on tickets. Again, Pomerium at the St. Louis Basilica, at Cathedral Basilica of St. Louis, again, March 21st at 8 p.m. But don't go anywhere. We actually have more with Scott Kennebeck when we return, so stick with us.